everyone, I hope that you're doing well. I thought for once I would start the video with a little bit of talking because I had a very relaxed weekend with a lot of reading and a lot of journaling, and I thought it'd be a nice start to the week to show you that, and then we can kind of continue from there. I have some updates about the Commonplace experiment that I was talking about, I think on Friday. I did set it up. I did some tests on Saturday night because I knew I had a vague idea of what I wanted the pages to look like, and I knew that I wanted to try out a margin just because it feels nice. I don't know, I wouldn't really annotate my own thoughts, but if I'm annotating other text, text that other people have written from books, especially that kind of thing, I do tend to annotate books. My secret history copy that I'm currently reading is, first of all, falling apart, and second of all, very much highlighted and underlined and dogged, and it's got annotations everywhere. But I was kind of going for that vibe, and I really like it. But I wasn't sure whether I wanted margins to be always on the outside of the page or always on the left side of the page, and I ended up deciding to go for always on the outside of the page, and promptly picked up the wrong page to start writing on because this has the margin on the left, and I didn't realize until I started the next page, and I was like, wait, how much space do I leave between where the holes are and where I start writing? And I was like, I did not have to deal with this in the previous page. Something is wrong. But I decided not to redo it or change anything because I don't think it's worth it. But I copied down a whole bunch of my highlighted or underlined stuff, quotes, passages from the secret history. I did read quite a bit. I'm on page 366 currently. I think I read probably, I don't know, a couple hundred pages over the weekend, and I'm still really enjoying it. I've read it before. It's really nice. Well, it's not that nice, the fact that I can't remember the books that I read very well, but it's also really nice in the sense that I get to re-experience them similarly to how I did the first time when I reread them after a few years, because I just do not remember what happened within them. So that's kind of what's happening. I have very vague memories of what happens. I do not remember the ending at all. So, it's that kind of thing that it comes back to me as I'm reading, but I don't know, there's still the element of surprise, and I kind of like that. But copying down a bunch of quotes, I'm writing down the page number on the side. I have yet to go back and annotate these because I have thoughts about some stuff. There's especially a very long bit that I copied down as a couple of pages long about language, which is a topic that I'm very fascinated by and interested in, and especially the way the language we speak and how speaking different languages affects our thinking, and shapes the way that we talk. I find that really interesting. So I've put together some pages. I'm having a really good time with that. I've drawn the margins on some more pages. I'm going to do some more today probably, just so I have them ready whenever I need them. I'm also I've started putting these I don't know what you call them. They're hole savers in Italian, the literal translation. And it's basically to protect the holes from getting ripped, because I have trauma from my pages getting ripped all of the time in high school. The issue with Muji pages, which is something that I already had in high school as well, because I was using Muji paper to take notes back then as well, is that the center ones are bigger, and these are basically the size of the smaller holes. So what I do is I can't just put it at the front, because otherwise then you get a sticky backing that shows through. So I put it both on the front and the back to cover it up, but at least they're nice and protected, and I want to do it to a bunch of them. I will say this binder is not great. I never really noticed because I used to keep this full of like plastic sleeves, and I would keep my scraps and like various kinds of ephemera, printed pictures, all of that. I've just taken the stack out and put it in my drawer for now, but because of that I would always just pick things up from like the top of the plastic sleeve, and I wasn't really opening and closing the rings. This one is not properly aligned and I cannot make it align well, but also it's just really hard to open and close. So I might get one of their like paper or like cardboard binders, because I used to have those in high school and I like those a lot better. The plastic is also kind of hard to open and close, so I think that might be a better option. They're the kind where, because this one has the rings on the back cover basically, those have the rings in the center, and I do tend to prefer that. So I think this week I might stop by Muji to get that. That's like €3. I can spend €3 on a binder. It's fine. But I am really enjoying the process. It's been really refreshing to try out a new size of paper, like a new page format, and also to have the margins is something that I haven't really worked with before. So it's been very interesting, but I think I was really looking forward to having a bigger size for something like this, because I like doing like little collages and stuff and like sticking pictures in, but I felt like that wasn't something that I could really do in my traveler's notebook regular size insert, because if like there's not that much space. So if you do a collage like this, then I don't know, I feel like it takes up so much space, so much more space, and then you can't fit anything within the page. I also would never really add a margin to a page this narrow. Like I did at some point at the beginning of the book, or another book, I'm not sure, it might have been another one. No, it's this one, see, because I was writing about a song and stuff, but it's like you have no space to write here or there, and I don't feel like it works very well. But that aside, things have been going much better in here as well. I did do a couple of entries. I was writing about setting this up, and I was also writing about some intentions that I have for this upcoming spring and like the next few weeks. So it's been nice. I think the last few spreads that I made, I just really like aesthetically speaking, and I haven't really had that for a while in here, so I'm happy with that. And then I'm also all caught up in this book, so it's nothing too exciting, but I am on track with this and it's going well, so happy with that. I really like this spread, I really like the colours. This one as well with Megan's spring stickers, I love this one. The colours go really nicely together, and I love this picture. And then this is all stuff from last week. So, but I've been having a great time, and I thought I would update you on that. I also brought over some more books from home because I went to the bookshop on Friday, because I came home early from the lab, and it's when I did like the Muji shopping and stuff as well, and I couldn't find anything. It was very overwhelming, and I didn't know what to look for or where to look. And also, I don't know, I feel like the last time that I was really reading consistently was back in England, and so because I was there and like obviously bookshops mainly had English books, I felt like that was a lot easier for me to find books. I tend to prefer to read in English, and also if a book is originally written in English, I'd rather read it in English. I'm not going to try to read it in Italian. So I need to go to the international bookshop. I've somehow never been. I wanted to go to the other day, but I forgot. So I'm going to go at some point in the next few weeks, I think. But in the meantime, I brought over some books that I had back home that I really wanted to read. A couple of them I've read already. I'm not sure I'm going to reread very soon, but it is a book that I really, really enjoyed, and it's a book of short stories. So I thought it might be like a nice way to switch things up if I ever get bored with like longer books. And then well, actually all of these were recommendations from my Italian high school professor. I've also already read this one. I read this twice. He lent it to me at some point, and then I bought it again for myself a couple of years later. This is also very heavily underlined. And I brought this over because I have another book from the same author. This is called 7 Brief Lessons on Physics, and this is called The Order of Time. And I feel like they're like companion books, so I really want to read this. I've also had this for a couple of years, but I feel like before I read this, I want to reread this. So I thought I'd bring it over, and then there's a couple of other ones. This is fiction, I think, and then this is non-fiction. So I don't know. It's a little selection. If I can't find anything else, I am also starting. I started. What was it? I think at the back of the weeks I started putting together a reading list so I can keep track of like what it is that I want to read. If I hear recommendations in videos and stuff, I can add it to this. I also need to write down like a spring cleaning list because some things need reset, both like physical cleaning but also like clearing my downloads folder and like, you know, digital reset type thing, archiving pictures, that sort of thing. So I'm gonna make that list today as well. And then I've got to start studying for exams this week. I have exams coming up after the Easter holidays. I only have a few days of Easter holidays, and then it's exam season, or like exam session for the next week, and then we start lectures again. But don't have lectures tomorrow. I'm in the lab, and then I have lectures Wednesday morning, in the lab again Wednesday afternoon, and then from Thursday I don't have any like fixed commitments, so I can kind of just like organize my time a bit better from there. But I do need to study. We also have a project that we need to meet up online for this afternoon because the deadline's Wednesday. That's like a recurring weekly thing for our sustainability course. So that's the overview for the week for you. I hope that you're having a good day. Monday's started out pretty well. I'm gonna go to bed very early tonight because I've got to be at the lab early tomorrow. But I'm feeling pretty energized for the week, pretty hopeful, even though I was very hopeful for spring, and it's going to be a very rainy, very dark week, it seems. So we might not be so close to spring just yet, but it's okay. Talk to you later.
Again, I hope that you're doing well. I wanted to record this on Friday, but then it was such a dark, rainy day that it just did not make sense to film anything. So you're getting a voiceover instead. I also hope my voice sounds vaguely okay. I've been sick for like 4 or 5 days. I'm good now, but I think my voice is still a bit nasal, so excuse that. I hope it doesn't annoy anyone. But I have a couple of updates. The first one being I drew some new sticker sheets. It's one sticker sheet in 2 different color variations because I've been thinking all week about that one kind of layered sticker that I drew as part of my like the Everyday collection that I released a while back. There's one that has like a menu and a coffee cup and something else, like another little plate. And I just really, really like the layered look of that. And I've been thinking for days that I wanted to make more stickers in that style with like different elements within the same design. And so I kind of combined that with like some nice spring colors. I wanted like some green, cream and yellow type stickers. And this sticker sheet that you see me draw right now came out. Except then yesterday, which was Monday, which you won't get to see in this video, it'll be at the start of next week's video, but basically I printed out the sticker and I was taking pictures to upload for the listing on the shop, and I realized that the pages in the Hobonichi this month are like a bright pink, and the colors that I'd chosen don't match particularly well with it. So I was like, annoyed, but okay. And I just decided to recolor it and make a second pink version, which surprisingly turned out really, really nice. It's a bit Valentine-y, but it's very sweet. It's really cute, and it still feels very very spring themed, which is what I wanted, what I was aiming for. So I really like it, and I just ended up uploading both of them together within the same listing. So if you buy the product, you would get both, because it didn't make sense to upload them separately, but I also really like both, so I wanted like to share both of them. But so that's one thing, and that's what you'll see me draw for the rest of the video pretty much. But the kind of the main thing that I wanted to talk about was a little update on the Commonplace system, because I came across a bit of an issue that I didn't think was going to be an issue. In my head, a ring binder is a 2-ring binder. Like, I know Filofax binders have 6 rings, and I have seen online 6-ring binders before, but I've never seen one in person. Like, they're not very common here, I don't think. And also, like, I don't know, just in my head, a ring binder is a 2-ring binder. So I didn't think finding a cover for it would be an issue. And I mentioned last week that, like, what I'm doing right now is just a test with materials that I already had, which is like the Muji paper, the Muji binder and everything. And that's great. But I was starting to have a look at covers because I know they can be quite expensive, and I wanted to have a look at like what was available. I wanted to get an idea of like how expensive it would be. Just, I was having a browse the other day, and I realized there are like close to no cover options for 2-ring binders. Everything is for 6-ring binders. The issue is the paper that I'm currently using, which is Muji paper. It fits in a 2-ring binder, but it doesn't fit in a 6-ring binder because the spacing is different. And it would be really difficult to punch to fit in a 6-ring binder because it's got like 20 or so holes, because I think it's meant to fit in those like Japanese style spiral bound notebooks. And so if I were to hole punch it with the 6-ring spacing on top of that, the thing would just kind of fall apart. So that's a bit of an issue because if it fit, I could just carry on using this paper and then put it in a 6-ring cover and it wouldn't be an issue. But because it doesn't fit, I'm now thinking it's best to like get a proper paper and start using that instead, because I only found one cover. I found a cover on Etsy that's like a 2-ring binder that is okay, but it's not great. Like, it looks fine, but it's not what I had envisioned. And I basically found nothing else. Like, everything else is your classic like cardboard school binder, which is not what I want. I want like a nice leather cover that ideally kind of matches my traveler's notebook cover, and they can be like a cute little pair. And then I was thinking, like, because everything seems to be made within like this context, it all seems to be made for 6-ring binders. In terms of like longevity, it just makes more sense for me to switch to a 6-ring system, because if I'm struggling to find a cover now and I only find one and I get that one, then maybe another time if I need to get another cover or something, like maybe that's not available anymore and I'm like stuck and there's nothing to get, you know? So I just think it makes more sense to switch to a 6-ring system. I was also talking to a friend about the fact that I'm a bit paranoid about the pages ripping, as I was talking about. I don't know if it was earlier on in this video or in last week's video, but I'm a bit paranoid about the pages ripping because I can't talk. I have had that happen to me multiple times before in high school. That used to happen all the time. But she was saying that she found, when she tested out a 6-ring binder for like a creative project, she found that the pages were a lot less prone to ripping, because I guess like as you're flipping it over, it doesn't get moved around as much. It's more stable. It's like a smoother flipping experience. And so I was like, that's compelling though, because that might mean that I wouldn't have to put my little round stickers on to keep the pages from ripping, which would be great because I don't mind doing it, but also like it's time consuming and it's not like the most fun thing to be doing. So there's like pros and cons, I suppose, but like I guess in my head it makes sense to switch to a 6-ring binder. The only con that I can really think of is the fact that I can't buy paper in person. I have to order paper online because I would genuinely have no idea where to find paper. And I just want like plain grid paper. So that's fine. But I have found it online. I'm going to order it later today. I'm probably also going to order the cover at this point because I don't want, because I was thinking I can find a way to like transfer the pages that I've already made over. I'm probably just going to stick like a strip of washi tape over like the hole punch part and then hole punch over that with the 6-ring spacer thing. So like the washi tape kind of holds everything together, but I don't want to have to do that with more pages than necessary. So I think, I don't know, it wasn't planned because I wanted this to be like a really low-key not buying anything type of experiment for a month or two, but it also doesn't make sense to continue with this system and then I have to switch everything over in like say 2 months time, and it's going to be just complicated because I can't imagine that like if I have 50 pages, I can't imagine it'll be a quick thing to just put washi tape over all of them and hole punch all of them again, and like it'll be a bit of a messy thing, and I don't mind doing that for a few pages, but if it's like 50 or more, it's not going to be great. So I think that the plan is just to make the switch now. I am really enjoying the system. First of all, I don't find writing on the loose page as annoying as I thought it would be. I still think writing in a notebook is a bit of a nicer experience, but the pros outweigh the cons because I printed out an article the other day. I printed out Joan Didion's On Keeping a Notebook because that's like a Commonplace staple. And just I printed it out and then that was so quick and it was so nice. And now it's in there and it's really cute. I might have to play around with formatting a little bit, but I don't know, I found a PDF and printed that out, but it's still, you know, it's really nice. Especially because I do have quite a long list of articles that I've written before in my previous journals as Commonplace entries, and I would like to transfer over, but like some of them are really long articles, so I think for some of them it might be nice to have the possibility to print it out and just stick it in. But I think the most important pro that I found with it is the possibility of leaving an entry unfinished and still being able to write something else on the side. Like when I was writing, I was copying down the quotes that I'd highlighted in the secret history and like annotating those. I could still write another page about something else without having to think about like, okay, I'm going to estimate that I have like 5 more quotes to write down. Maybe I'll need like 2 more pages. I'll leave 2 more pages blank, and then you end up not having enough space or having too much space, and just it never works in a bound book. It's always complicated. It's not the kind of thing that I would ever really do. But for this kind of thing, I feel like it's really, really lovely, especially if you're writing a really long article. Maybe it takes you a couple of days to write it all down, but you still maybe want to write down a short quote in the middle. You can still do that. And it's been really fun. I really like the size. 10 out of 10 for the size. I definitely, A5 was a good choice. It's much nicer than like the vertical traveler's notebook format for a Commonplace book, I find. So that's kind of the plan. I have now found, I don't think I mentioned it. I was thinking about it in my head, but I don't think I mentioned it. I did find, as I was looking for 2 ring binder covers, I did find like the perfect 6 ring binder cover. I had a look at like Filofax and Motom covers. I don't really like any of them. There's one Filofax cover that I like, but I think they only make it in the personal size. I can't remember the name of the cover, but they only make it in the personal size, and I want the A5, so that's not gonna work. But I found one on Etsy that is like perfect. It's really nice, just black, with a button closure, and it has really nice gold rings and like a big pocket on one side and then a card holder on the other, and it's exactly how I had envisioned it. And it's not particularly expensive either. It's a lot less expensive than like the Filofax ones, but it has good reviews, so I'm hopeful. So I think I'm going to order that. I found paper. I'm going to order the paper, and I think we're just going to call it a day and keep working with that. I also I managed to forget the Commonplace that I am currently using at my parents'. I've just come home, and I managed to forget it at my parents', and I'm probably not going to go back for a couple of weeks because I don't know if I'm going back next weekend because of exams and stuff. And so I'm hoping at least, well, the paper should come in just a couple of days, so at least I'll be able to keep writing because otherwise I'd be stuck without it for a couple of weeks, which not ideal. It also means that I can't film the March wrap-up video, which I really wanted to film today, but guess that's not happening because I don't want to film it with a book missing, because that's like a substantial part of the update. But that's fine. So that's kind of the plan. That's the update. I'm getting the new cover, and I'm getting new paper, and hopefully I can just keep working with that, and that'll be it. I'll link the cover below if you want to check it out. I think it's really pretty. I have a book update. On Friday, I picked up If We Were Villains from the bookshop because I saw they had it in English, and I was like, reserved for pickup, so I could pick it up there's a bookshop in the train station, so I could pick it up on my way to take the train back home. And I started reading it on the train. I read like 40 pages, and I was like, immediately, I was like, it was a bad idea to read this right after the secret history, because the comparison comes very natural, but this book just doesn't hold up to that. The Donna Tartt set a very high standard, and this is just nowhere near that in terms of the writing style. Mainly, I'm not the biggest fan of the writing style. I'm nearly done with it now. I have like 80 or so pages left. I think I'm going to finish it today, but I am enjoying it more. Like, I feel like when the story started picking up a bit more after, I don't know, 100 or so pages, just because the story has picked up more, like, you kind of get dragged into it and you want to know what comes next. But definitely not going to be a new favorite. I'm not a big fan of that. I don't know, the characters feel weird, the relationships between the characters feel weird. Like, if you spent 4 years at school together, that should be a bit more, I don't know, a bit of a different kind of interaction. It feels like they're still very much strangers within one another. I don't know, that's a weird type of interaction. It's a bit awkward, I found. So that's a book update. I'm still finishing it. Like, the story's okay. I think the plot is fine, but bad idea to read it right after The Secret History. I was expecting a high standard, and it did not deliver. The cover is cute though. The cover is cute, at least. At least it's gonna look nice on my bookshelf. But yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna read next, because I have exams next week. Actually, at the end of this week too. God, that's coming so soon. But I want something just like a nice light book. And I brought over The Goldfinch as well, but that's not a nice light book. That's a long, heavy book. So I don't think I'm going to go for that next. I have read The Goldfinch before, but I want to reread it. That's my issue. Every time I pick up reading again after a while of not being able to read, I just want to reread all of my favorites. And so I never read anything new. But I have read a couple of new books recently, so that's progress. But I feel like the only like shorter books I have are non-fiction, so I'll see what I have and decide. Probably don't want to go out to pick up something new or try to read something I already have. But that's the update. I'm gonna finish this tonight, and then I just have a long week of studying ahead of me, so you can expect that for next week. I'll try to film some journaling. I'll try to film some painting here and there, to make the video a little bit more interesting. I don't think the cover's gonna come next week, or like this week for me, next week for you, but probably the one after. But I'm getting the paper in just a couple of days, so I can at least start making new pages, which will be nice because I have a long list of articles and things that I want to copy from previous books, so that might be a nice like evening activity. Now that we switched out, did we switch to light saving hours or from, I don't know, I never understand how that works, but basically it gets darker later in the evening, so I'm gonna have more light to work with, which is gonna be great because I'm sick and tired of like everything getting dark at 4 p.m. and not being able to film after I'm done with my tasks for the day, so that will be lovely. But yeah, that's a nice long ramble to end the video. I hope you enjoyed seeing the drawing process. I'm actually really happy with how these turned out. I think I was surprised at how cute the pink sheet turned out to be. I wasn't expecting to like it, because I saw the pink pages and I was like, that's not going to be a good month. I'm not a big fan of pink. But I don't know, I think I managed to make it cute. I'm quite happy with that. So if you want to check them out, they'll be in the shop. I'll try to remember to leave them linked. And that's the update. Hope you all, hope you had a nice Easter weekend, whether you celebrate it or not. Hope you just had a chill weekend. Hope you're having a nice week ahead. And I'll see you soon with a new video. Bye.